The champagne flute burst against the marble, a piercing crack that sliced through the hum of conversation. The laughter died instantly. My wife's words echoed, cold and precise, hanging in the air like smoke. "You were my backup plan, Daniel. I should have married him." Her eyes widened the moment the truth escaped her lips, panic flashing behind the mask she wore so well. The chandelier lights blurred into streaks, and the scent of lilies thickened the air, suffocating me. 20 years of marriage, and I was nothing more than her second choice. I stood there, frozen in my fitted suit that suddenly felt too small, too tight, as her confession pressed against my chest like a weight I couldn't lift. The crowd, friends, family, colleagues, stared, murmuring among themselves, their whispers rolling through the room like distant thunder. My heart pounded. Every beat asked the same question. Who was he? Then his name, Mark, flickered across my mind. A ghost from her past I thought I'd buried long ago. I forced a smile, one that tasted like iron. I lifted my glass and said, "To love." My voice didn't waver, though my soul trembled beneath it. The applause that followed was hesitant, polite, unaware of the fracture that had just split my world in half. That night, our home was quieter than the grave. The old Victorian walls seemed to listen, its creaking oak floors and stained glass windows catching the faint echoes of a life unraveling. Claire sat on the velvet couch, her auburn hair glinting under the lamplight, her fingers knotting the hem of her ivory dress. "I didn't mean it," she whispered, brittle and small. "It was stupid. I just said it." "Then why say it?" I asked. My tone was calm, but my pulse thundered. I wanted to believe her, to blame it on champagne and nerves, but her eyes darted to the floor, refusing to meet mine. I'd seen that look before, when she forgot her anniversary, when she worked late for weeks, when her phone buzzed at 2 a.m. and she turned it off without looking. "I don't know," she said, her voice cracking. "I was nervous, okay? The vows, the crowd, it stirred old memories. Mark and I were young. It's nothing. Nothing." The word echoed like an empty promise. I poured myself a whiskey, the amber heat searing my throat as her words replayed in my mind. Mark, her college sweetheart, the one she'd sworn was long gone. I'd met him once at a reunion. Tall, confident, the kind of man whose laughter filled a room. I'd felt small then, but Claire had squeezed my hand, her smile steady, reassuring. That memory now tasted like a lie. The next morning smelled of coffee and forced normalcy. "Let's forget last night," she said, pushing a mug toward me. Her movements were jerky, her smile stretched too wide, like a puppet held together by fraying strings. I nodded, but suspicion had already rooted itself deep. Then I started to notice the little things. Her phone always face down, her late nights at the gallery where she curated art, the way she flinched when I touched her shoulder. Days blurred into weeks, a slow drip of unease. I became a stranger in my own marriage, a detective I despised. One night, while she showered, I picked up her phone. Steam curled out from the bathroom, heavy and hot, as if warning me to stop. But I didn't. A message glowed on the screen. "Miss you. Can we meet?" My thumb hovered over it. I could confront her right then, or pretend I hadn't seen it. I chose silence, though the damage was done. The gallery became my obsession. One rainy night, I drove by, the city's neon reflecting in puddles. Through the glass storefront, I saw her laughing. With him, Mark. His hand brushed her arm, lingered. My chest constricted. The car's heater suddenly suffocating. I didn't storm in. I just drove home, her laughter replaying in my head, like a blade twisting deeper each time. Days later, her laptop gave me the truth she wouldn't. Emails coded, intimate, undeniable. "Meet me at the loft. I can't stop thinking about you." My hands shook as I read them. Each word was a betrayal. Each timestamp, a night she had come home pretending. The loft, our loft, the first apartment we ever shared. Now their hiding place. I could have confronted her, but I wanted proof. Something solid. Something she couldn't twist. So I installed a hidden camera, small, discreet, tucked into a bookshelf. The act itself felt filthy, like crossing a line I swore I'd never cross. But it was too late for morals. Days later, I watched, and there they were, Claire and Mark, tangled together on the same couch we once picked out, laughing the way she used to with me. The rage that hit me was blinding, but under it, grief churned, heavy, relentless, because I still loved her. I remembered her shy smile on our first date, the way she cried in my arms after her miscarriage, the way she danced barefoot to jazz in our kitchen. How could that woman become this? So I planned my revenge, quiet, deliberate, surgical. No shouting, no violence, just truth. I invited Mark to dinner, pretending it was a friendly catch-up. Claire's face drained of color when I told her. She agreed anyway, her voice tight, her hands trembling. That evening, the table gleamed under candlelight. The air was thick with rosemary and deceit. Mark arrived all charm and swagger, clueless to the ambush he'd walked into. We started with small talk. Then I guided it, steering every word like a blade. Claire mentioned you two were close, I said casually. She choked on her wine. Mark's grin faltered. She said you were her first choice. I continued, my voice calm but sharp. Funny how plans change, isn't it? The room froze. Claire's fork slipped from her hand, clattering against her plate. Mark stammered, his confidence cracking. That's not how I remember it, he muttered. I pulled out my phone and hit play. The recording from the loft filled the silence. Whispers, gasps, laughter. Hers, his. Claire's face crumpled. Tears streamed as realization hit. The trap was complete. Why? I asked, my voice breaking despite my calm. Why wasn't I enough? She sobbed, spilling apologies and excuses, blaming boredom, routine, nostalgia. Mark was just an escape, she cried. It meant nothing. I love you, Daniel. Mark sat silent, the cowl revealed. I didn't yell. I didn't need to. The truth was punishment enough. I'm done, I said quietly, standing. You can have your past, but you'll never have me again. I walked out into the cold night. The stars above didn't care. The house, the vows, the years, all of it turned to ash behind me. And yet, as I drove away, I felt something unexpected. Peace. Because in the ruins of that truth, I found the only thing left unbroken, myself.